Okay, so making hand-dipped candles. The first thing you need to do is get some wax. This was from a big chunk, and I'm chunking it into smaller pieces, and so that it'll melt a little bit faster. The smaller it is, the better it'll melt, and that's where I'm starting. Okay, so I've got the pot on the stove with the water in it, and you can see I've got the pieces of crayon in there, and there is that little pinky purple thing in there is a little scented wax square that you would use for a candle or a wax warmer, and that's going to give my candle a nice scent. So I've got yellow, red, and white. You can see there's the little white crayon pieces, and the reason for the white crayon pieces, I want a more white wax, and the wax itself is more opaque, a little bit more transparent, and I don't really want a whole lot of transparency in it. So I'm just going to put these in the water, and I'm going to get the water warm and let it melt, and then we'll go from there. Okay, the materials that you're going to need, I put down aluminum foil. You could use wax paper, parchment paper, whatever, just it's kind of, to roll your candles on if you want to keep them kind of straight, and also for, just protecting of your area. You just need regular cotton string, kite string would work, pair of scissors, and a pitcher of cold tap water. It doesn't have to be ice cold, just cool tap water straight from the tap. And that's what we're going to need when we get ready to dip our candles. I'll go ahead and show you. You see. So we're going to take some string, and as tall as the glass, or you want to be able to dip it, and you're going to trim it anyway. So I'm going to measure it against the water pitcher here, and just maybe a couple inches above it, and cut it there. Maybe about the size of a ruler. And I will get maybe 6 that I start with. The wax melts. I just started it on the stove, and you can see it's going to be a little while before it melts completely. Oh, another thing too. You want something long enough to stick in there and kind of give them a stir every once in a while. Okay, so the wax in my glasses is beginning to get thick, and I could leave these this long, the yellow ones, that long if I want, or that thick if I want to, or I could put this glass of yellow back into the pan of hot watering behind me that's simmering, and make them even thicker. I think I'm going to leave these this thickness at this point. Now the red, you can see how thick I got them, and that's as thick as I want them right now. The rest of the red in the glass needs to go back in the pot as well. But these are as thick as I want them for what I'm going to do. Now I'm just going to set this camera down. I'm going to put these back into... Okay, now this is hot wax. Now this is my first time making the double dipped two-tone color candles. I'm hoping that by dipping the red candles in here, it won't turn it pink. But we'll see. Okay, so these are still a little bit warm, so I'm going to stick them back in the water for a minute. Now, one of the things when you roll them out, after you dip them in the water, when you dip them in the wax and dip them in the water, and you put it on your paper and give it a roll, because you might get little pockets of water in your candle, and you want to squeeze that out. And then, of course, after you finish making your candles, you'll want to leave them sit somewhere for at least a good week, maybe 2. Maybe 2 before using them, because otherwise they will spit and sputter. You want to let them cure so that the water can evaporate out of the candles, and hopefully just by rolling them you can release a lot of that moisture, but you do want to let it cure. It's better for the candle. Okay, so I feel like these are cool enough. This wax is pretty hot yet. As it cools, it thickens and it'll give a better coating. And so these are going to be my bleeding candles. And so the red in the middle is, and you know, with the white around, when you light them, they'll appear to be bleeding. So I'm going to start off with just one dip at a time. And it's okay if the top of it's red, you know, because that way the red will drip down along the white. And I don't know how many coats we're going to need to camouflage most of the red. But, you know, and then just give it a roll. Get that moisture out of there. And then if your candle wax starts receding in the jar, just give it a little, you know, just turn your glass on it, you know, at an angle a little bit, so, you know, where it'll come up to the lip. Like this. Oh, but don't do that. Normally I don't do that, but I'm trying to watch my camera at the same time. Alright, so it's alright. Just coat the candles a little bit more at the bottom there, at the base. And it'll peel off. And you'll be able to reuse it.
What the hell is wrong with y'all? Y'all insane? What you mean? Monday shuffle, Tuesday shuffle.
Okay, I know I'm going to have to do a lot of editing on this. So, you can see how thick I got these. I'm trying to get them as white as possible. You're still going to be able to see through the white a little bit to notice that there's something dark underneath there. And I could have made the red candles a lot thinner and still had the same effect that I want. But I kind of want these kind of fatter. And now I'm just going to stick them back in the water for a minute. And I've got plenty of white left, so I could do some more smaller ones if I want to. And I've got some red on the stove. I'm going to take those back out. And I could do this with, you know, the double inside out colors. You can do a lot of that. Okay, and so there we are. And then the last step with these candles is just to clip off the end. And they're nice hand-dipped candles. And I don't waste a little bit. I make small birthday size candles or just a bigger with, you know, the leftover wicks. There you have it. Now I'm going to continue making some more candles. I've got all kinds of wax right now. You know, nice. And when this candle burns, it'll look like it's bleeding down the sides of the base of this candle because of the red. Okay, that's it. I'm going to make some more candles. I think you have the idea. Make sure that after you have the candles, you set them in a nice, dark, dry place. Let them cure for a while. And once they're cured, you have your own candles. Oh, and they smell good too, by the way.